my privilege to introduce my dear friend Jan Loeb, who will moderate the current session of Ask Our Rabbanim. Any question that you had on your mind, this is your chance for hadracha. It's not enough. People say, I can get to the Gedolim. First of all, you can't get to them, but there's no excuse now. They're here. They're waiting for your question, and we're waiting for their answers. We'll ask our Feldman. They're going to come on?
No, your cards on the table.
No, but what about the Rosh?
As soon as we take down the...
When did you take it down? Okay. Who's Jan? Jan will not answer the questions. He leaves that to Blooming. Right?
By the way, we have a number of questions from the floor and from the women as well, but Rabbi Milstein will be walking around. If anybody has any last-minute questions, please do not hesitate to put them forward. This year we'll do something a little bit different than we did last year. Last year, I repeated the question, and I asked one of the Rosh Yeshiva to give the answer, and then if the other Rosh Yeshiva would like to chime in, the Rosh Yeshivas did. This year, I'm just going to ask the question, and one of the Rosh Yeshiva will give the answer, and if the other Rosh Yeshiva would like to add something, the Rosh Yeshiva will. Thank you all very much for coming. The questions are in no particular order, or not based on any particular subject, but rather as they come in. And we do have a lot of questions, so if I don't get to every one of the questions, please forgive me. The first question is, in my son's yeshiva, Limudei Chol is not taken seriously. I understand the yeshiva feels that there is little they can do about it. What can I do for my son so that A, he does not develop negative mitos as a result of playing around at the expense of his teachers for a good chunk of the day, or B, he does not become basically uneducated in secular subjects?
It's a question that many parents are bothered with it and troubled with it. It's unfortunate that it is a little bit lashon hara in yeshivas, but unfortunately it's true also. That's hurtful. We utilize the time that's dedicated for limudei chayil, and it's important, there's no question about it. It is unfortunately that a little bit comes from the homes. The parents are not interested enough. If the parents would be more interested, the children would not act up like that. It's true, at the yeshivas, there is limited time, and the secular studies are studied in the afternoon. However, the time that is dedicated for that should be utilized every moment of the time. And it's unfortunate that it's not so well dedicated. Some yeshivas do try, and some are masliach also, that they educate the children properly as they should be prepared. I don't want to brag that some of our students got scholarship from St. Joseph's. little bit brag, but at the same time, that is what they. I don't have a good excuse why we don't utilize the time so well. I do not have. I'm sorry, I don't have it. But I think if parents would be more interested, they should be able to impress the yeshivas where the children attend, that the time should be utilized properly, most properly, which is important. Later, you've often like to ask it, if you graduate high school. And if he doesn't know to write a letter, it's a bizayon. It's a shame. Someone doesn't write a letter that's the proper letter. He doesn't speak properly English too. It's unfortunate. But that is all I can say. We will ask Rabbi. The Ashir and Eretz Soil maybe has something to say.
Yeah, well, there's no question about it that it breeds bad midas. It comes from a good source because the children are taught that the Limudei Kodesh are more important than the Limudei Chol. But they use it as an opportunity to just not to study, to take time off. But I think we should have a different perspective on the Limudei Chol of the yeshivas. We're still we have a paradigm which is 50, 60 years old. I think nowadays we should be teaching Limudei Chol as part of Limudei Kodesh. What do I mean by that? Science, you can teach Emunah, teach the wonders of Hashem. Biology, you can teach the miracles of the body. Teach them Emunah. Teach them it's not shy of it should have developed by chance, as many Goyim say. We should teach them that. We should grapple with the issues of the day and show them it's not true. History should be Jewish history. They should know the history of if they're learning history, they should know the history of the Sforim that they learned with the Kodesh. When did the Ktsois live? When did the Rashba live? Many people think they were contemporaries. The children think that way. And they think the Ktsois was earlier. So we should integrate, I think we should integrate the Limudei Chol into the Limudei Kodesh. Whenever I make such a proposal, I think every area, writing English can be part of exposition of ideas, of Torah ideas. Children can be taught to express themselves. We need so many writers nowadays in order to express our viewpoint. Every area can be used for Kodesh. Problem is teachers, but we have so many alike now that the B'nai Torah that can serve as teachers. Whenever I give this proposal, they always tell me there's no teachers. But I think we don't try it long enough. Hard enough. We're mired in the past, we're mired in the paradigm of the past, and we should rethink what the Limudei Chol should be in a yeshiva. It should be integrated together with the Limudei Kodesh, a way to teach Yiras Shamayim the skills necessary to be a Ben Torah.
What can we do to impress Kedusha Shabbos in our homes, especially to our children?
I heard from a wise woman once that what parents do in a home, what a mother does when she bakes a cake, or parents do when a father does when he conducts the Shabbos table, is creating memories for the children. We all have memories of our Shabbos table, and our parents created those memories for us. If we were Zeicha, not everybody was Zeicha. Those who were Zeicha. And we have to know that that's what we're doing now, creating memories for our children. Shabbos has to be an interesting and a lifting, inspiring occasion for the children. Small children can't sit too long. We have to make it short and sweet and let them go. But older children, 8 years old, 9 years old, we should make an inspiring Shabbos. Parents have to prepare themselves for the Shabbos. And there should be special foods for the children. They have to have the memories of Yishmaki Shabbos. But it needs preparation. Preparation of parents. About a question for each child, have a question prepared for each child according to his age. And let everyone feel that he participated, he learned something, and this way the Shabbos will be something that they'll remember the rest of their lives.
while we're on the topic of Shabbos, I grew up staying at home on long Friday nights with my family and found this to be an important family time. Now there are programs for Friday night learning that invite us to finish the meal more quickly and go to shul to learn, such that by the time we get home, the family is mostly in bed. Should I be taking my son to these programs, or should we use it as valuable family time?
It's most important to make the Shabbos experience in the house. True, they want to utilize the time, the long nights, in the winter time, perhaps to go out for an hour. But it's most important to make the Shabbos, the home of Shabbos. It should be felt in the home, their Shabbos. By the time the mother lights candles and she does a good time to be with Pablo for the whole household, but it should be a continuous, that Shabbos is Shabbos for the home. That's something that will remain with the children forever. As though Shiva mentioned before, these are the most pleasant memories in life. See what a Shabbos would look like. It's true that the father has to say something over on the parsha. They're a little older, younger, you can't hold them on down so much. But utilize the time according to the age of the children is most important.
Yeah, just to add that it could be that for some, if the whole purpose of the Shabbos table is family time, then maybe it might be better to go to Ovis and Bonim and have the kid learn something. But the purpose of the home should be Talmud Torah. The purpose of the Shabbos table should be teaching them. I'm not saying learning from the Sefer, but they have to have ideas, they have to have discussions, questions, that will, something simple from the Parashat Shavua, Mida Torah of the Ovis or the Mois. They have to be learning something, not just sitting and having idle talk. That's better to go to Ovis and Bonim, I think. But the best thing is that the parents should prepare, both should prepare themselves, the father does it, the mother does it, prepare themselves with questions that will keep the children knowledgeable about the needed status of the Torah teaches us.
Is there a role for the American Frum community in what seems to be a campaign against Haredim in Eretz Yisrael?
I think the Jewish community in Golis should speak out. The Orthodox community have to speak out to say that this is the Yesod of Yadus. When we learn Donor and Torah, if they Memayit in Torah, it's a Memayit in the Shema from Kol Yisrael. And there should be a cry from outside of Yisrael against the government, to specifically tell them that if you have Shema Meikar Torah, you Eikar Kol Yisrael. This is something that the Kol Yisrael lives with the Torah. Without the Torah, there's no Kol Yisrael. And I do think it should come out a cry from America. I don't know how to organize that. Perhaps it should be organized more. But for sure, there has to be an expression of that it's violating the neshama and the Kol Yisrael, the life of Kol Yisrael. Without Torah, there's no Kol Yisrael.
Maybe add that it's astonishing, it is astounding how little American Jewry is reacting to this campaign, which is directed towards uprooting yeshivas. They can say it openly, they want to uproot yeshivas. Uprooting the values of the yeshivas, uprooting the Haredi community. They're patronizing us and telling us how to live. And we should do this, we should stop learning, we should learn the limudim, we should learn interfering what we should learn in our schools. It's shocking how little American Jewry responds. We're sort of programmed over the years not to in any way attack the Israeli government, because after all, there's so many Jews there living under their protection. We don't the Arabs, to give them some argument in the world, these nations in the world. But we, at the same time, we can't stay silent. And not just protesting, we have to give money. Budgets have been cut, some places 75%. I think Chinuch Atzmai has been cut some places 75%, for no other reason but the fact that they're religious schools and Torah schools. The other schools that don't emphasize learning Torah with such an extreme, what they call, attitude, are funded fully. So we should react at least with shock, not let them think that we're going to take it lying down. And we should also open up our pocketbooks to make up the difference between what the schools used to have in the government and what they have now.
After speaking to the Rebbe and the Han'ala about a case of consistent bullying, can you take the issue out of the school, and to whom should one take it?
Well,
To the board of directors. The board is responsible for the accomplishments of the schools. They take credit for it, and they have to take bullying also in their pockets, in their domain, and in their interest. And I think that it would come out a bigger cry from the board of directors. I think the school would have a different outlook on it. We have to support those Rabbanim and those teachers, those principals that are fighting against bullying. And if we don't support them enough, they don't have the koyach. But we can't blame somebody else. We are the ones that are responsible for the school, are responsible for the accomplishments and the problems in the schools also. And I think that it should be brought to a board of directors, and they would try to do something to help that. It's very harmful to some individual children that they suffer. But they suffer just a little bit. You don't know how much the accomplishments, how much we hurt them for their entire lives, because they feel that they were being bullied, and they suffer. And it's many times that the Rebbe himself cannot control it enough. So there should be an outcry from parents and from board members to try to unite to see that it shouldn't happen.
yeah, I think whatever is done, the principal should be given a chance to do something, like Rashid said. If the principal tries and can't do anything, then with his permission, you should get some outside help. There's no reason why he shouldn't agree if he can't do anything, but he should be given a chance to do something. You can't have everybody, if you're in Shabbos Fazir, have to work together with the principal.
In what situations may one treat tuition as meiser, and are there parameters for what percentage may be so treated?
Some people say that 1/3 of tuition could be counted as a donation for your cheshbon of Maisa. The cheshbon of 1/3 is because actually a person is mechuyev to mechanech his child and mechuyev to pay for that also. But perhaps a person feels that if he pays more tuition or full tuition, so he's supporting other children at the same time. So therefore, I don't know where this third came from, but therefore a chedek of what he gives to the school will be counted as he's helping other children. So it's more not only for his own children. So then I think I don't know how the cheshbon came about. But to say 1/3 of your tuition could be counted as zakah.
Unfortunately, we hear of more agunos, where large monetary settlements are required to acquire a get. Sadly, many of them still remain part of our community? Can anything be done?
The issue which is in the newspapers, some people try to do something, unfortunately. And many people hold the Shul al Pi Halacha. I don't say most people hold Shul al Pi Halacha. The get is not even kosher get, and you force a husband. We have to use pressure, social pressure. It's the only weapon available for us. Maybe education, even in schools. This is the most horrible thing a person can do, is to use a get as a weapon for extorting money. And maybe if we start at a young age, telling children how horrible it is, it will enter their consciousness at a point they would never think about doing it when they grow older. In the meantime, it's a problem that we can't solve with forcing the husband, and we can only apply outside external pressures, social pressures, which make it difficult for him to continue doing that. That's the only way.
Should our Chadorim be part of the one student, one soldier program? If each student gets the name of a Chayal to daven for.
Why should one individual, at the same time it's valid for everybody? Why should you have only one person? Because he has a nicer name. But you could ask all the children to be responded, there's no question about it. And they daven. But you can't make it part of Tefillah. You can tell from time to time you can include names in Tefillah. You can't make it a nusach Tefillah. But to be responded for others, so there's allowed to be responded for others. There's no shade about that.
The message is being given to a child when you tell him to pray for a soldier. As the Rashid says, that's the most important thing in Klal Yisrael. The soldier was a soldier in Israel, was like basic in saving Jewish lives. But there are also other people that are basic in saving lives. There are Talmid Chachamim that teach Torah and save spiritual lives. There are needs that we have to be inspired for. Why do we choose Dafka soldiers to pray for the children? Pray for that. It's giving them a wrong message. That is the most important thing in Klal Yisrael. And it's not the most important. It's equal, at least equal, or less equal than other things in Klal Yisrael. And the best thing to stay out of this whole message that we're giving them. Everybody wants to daven, let them go. But not the children.
How should we teach our children to view the Holocaust? Should we stress the aspect of Midas Hadin?
It's a machlekes from psychologists. Some people say you should not do that because children will get scared and continuously. You may create problems with that. But we have to speak. There was a chum in Klal Yisrael that we do have to stress. What we lost was a great chedek of Klal Yisrael that we should stress. But it's very difficult to stress. Probably you read the book lately. There's a new book that came out that the author says it cannot be printed on a chayav after they just printed a book that he blames the recipe for certain chatoim in Klal Yisrael. But it's not, you have to look general. You can't make, we don't know the cheshbonos in Himmel, the cheshbonos from the Holocaust. We don't know what it means. That we do know, that those who are nifta in the Holocaust are died in Kiddush Hashem because because they were Jews. They gave their lives because of that. And that's why they were killed. That's what happened. So that is true. But to make cheshbonos because of this or that is very hard to say. And we're not Balabatim to point out that this is Nekuda. Nekuda is that אבל it's a holocaust, it's a terrible thing, Holocaust. The Gdoisha, they became Gdoisha area, there's no shot about it, there's a died Chil Hashem, not Kish Hashem. They died Chil Hashem because they died, because they were Jews. But to stress the children is just that it's important what we lost with the Holocaust. A lot of dirty soil, we lost Canada, we lost what was uprooted was something that Chol soil lived on. So therefore we have to see to try to bring that back. So that's why we're helping Chol soil in Soil, in America. That's our field. This is rebuilding Chol soil. So that we should stress to them. But the Holocaust itself, we can't point out this or that because of this or that. We can't. We're not. There's a bench on Cheshbainis. We cannot guess this is what happened. And it's true. Karls was in a massacre Yerida in Ruchnias. It's true. But to point out that this is the reason, we cannot go into that. We cannot say anything about that. But we should teach our children that we Klal Yisrael lost a great chelik of Klal Yisrael. But Hashem Atero Mitzvahs, they were Mekadosh Hashem. And why? We don't know why. The Bereshit knows why. But I don't think we can stress more than that. But very much stress is important to know what we have lost.
Because I would add that we need to, I think teaching the Holocaust is important. One aspect is very important. Why is there anti-Semitism? And we can use that, look how far anti-Semitism went. Why did Goyim hate us? We have to point out that our way of life is antithetical to the Goyish way of life. They must hate us because we say everything they do is not important. They run after Chinuch Atzmai, and we say it's Moitzi Nesodim Noilom. So we have a basic dispute with them about the meaning of life, what life is about. I have to explain them. That's why Goyim hate us. Goyim hate us because we don't accept any of their values. We don't accept their religion. We don't accept their way of life. What about the assimilated Jews? They hate them because they believe that they don't agree with them. They don't trust their assimilation. And that, we saw that in Hitler's time. Anybody who was Jewish, he was totally assimilated. He still tried to destroy them. The hatred of anti-Semitism is a cultural hatred because our way of life is different. I think that's important for the present children. I have to go into the gory details of the Holocaust. That could have, you won't be able to sleep at night, children, when they hear about it. But they should know about that. They also have to know that there's a schar v'inish. Like Moshe says, we don't know the schar v'inish. Everything is with the cheshbon. The Gemara says, Abai said that I hope that the time of the Mashiach comes, and I'm not living at that time. Because it would be so horrible. In other words, he predicted there will be a time like that. Because it will be horrible. Steipler told me I asked him at the time of the Six-Day War, I went across the street from him. I went into him and asked him, before the Six-Day War broke out, I asked him, is there going to be destruction of Jews in Eretz Yisrael? I want to run back to America. He told me, no, nothing's going to happen. So I said, what about the Yikis and Mashiach? He says, we already reacted that with the Holocaust. That's what he told me. So it's a time when there had to be a time predicted already thousands of years ago, a time of extreme solace for Klal Yisrael. The Midas Hadin was shaylit for whatever reason is, but there's a Midas Hadin, there's a cheshbon, the Bereshit knows the cheshbon, you can't pinpoint which of it is. You have to know these two things. So two things I say you have to teach in Holocaust. First of all, anti-Semitism, the reason for it, and secondly, they have to know that everything is with Midas Hadin.
We have time for one more question, so I apologize because I have at least 15 questions that were given to me that I did not ask. The last question is, recently there was a big human interest news story about a rabbi who found $98,000 in cash hidden in a desk that he purchased for $150. He returned the money to the lady and received large accolades. From a Kiddush Hashem aspect, did he do the best thing? Or maybe he should have done some due diligence into the lady and kept half and given Chinuch Atzmai half.
Oh, it's not permitted to go to Damba for Chinuch Atzmai. Oh, I needed a headache in this mitzvah because he called me and I advised him to return the money.
Thank you very much.